6-month severance for 6 months worth of work. An employee who voluntarily leaves should not get severance at all. Certainly doesn't happen in the private sector. And an employee who voluntarily leaves to go work on a political campaign and then comes back and gets a massive severance package, I have to tell you, the optics on this are terrible.
What on earth is Danielle Smith talking about? Well, she's talking about Stephen Carter, the campaign manager that helped get Alison Redford reelected, helped keep that nasty Danielle Smith out of office, and he got one heck of a sweetheart deal. Dave Rutherford joins us now to talk about this and the complete lack of respect for taxpayers' money.
Well,
Dave.
Of course, that's exactly, that's the bottom line
here?
Right there. You know, Stephen Carter is one of those guys, and Brian, we all know them. They work for any political party that will hire them. Stephen Carter actually worked for Danielle Smith at one time in the Wild Rose office, had to leave that because of an outstanding debt that his own personal company had not paid and will not pay. And so Danielle Smith let him go from Wild Rose. So he'll work for anybody that will hire him. And we know those kind of operatives. That's what Stephen Carter is. He takes claim for getting Naheed Nenshi elected the mayor of Calgary. Not really. He worked on Alison Redford's leadership campaign, which got her elected as leader. But that was because of a goofy PC party election process, and the also-ran came up the middle. And so he's claiming a lot of cred for some of this stuff that he's done. But he'll work for anybody. So he ended up as chief of staff.
He was the campaign manager, and then as the reward for the win, became her chief of staff.
That's exactly right. A one-year deal, and that pays $250, $300, we're not sure, but that's about what the salary is. So he did that for 6 months. Then he went to work. He left that job, as Danielle Smith said, voluntarily. He quit. And got $130,000 because he went to work on the political campaign, went to work for her re-election or her election bid politically.
Okay, so I mean, this is the tweet, because this was becoming an issue last week. So Stephen Carter tweeted it out, said, in respect for the Premier's demand for openness, the amount of my severance was $130,000. Now, we wanted to put that in perspective, okay? Because the average Canadian, working full-time, makes $47,000 a year. So that's 2.8 times what the average working Canadian makes. That's what he got in severance for going away. And as far as we know, could have been more, but we believe his chief of staff salary was $265,000. In what world does this make sense? If I left Sun News tomorrow voluntarily, I would not be getting severance.
Well, it would be, what would it be, about 130, be about the same thing, Brian? Is that what the severance would be?
Yeah, for sure.
So you're right. These jobs are highly paid, and I don't know how you qualify what the going rate is for a chief of staff. I don't know. But, yeah, the Premier decides how much this person will get. This is public money. But this is interesting because the Premier said, I can't reveal this. This is private information. It's nothing to do with me, which is ridiculous. And then after the pressure started, then she says, well, it's nothing to do with me, but I'm going to change it. Really? First of all, you can't do anything. Now you're going to change it? Yeah. Going forward? You know, this whole thing, they've tried to bury up. The Privacy Commissioner told the Premier, you must reveal this. And they continue to defy that. They continue to say, no, we're not going to. I mean, the arrogance here is unbelievable. But you're right, Carter walks off with $130K for leaving a job voluntarily.
Now, this comes at the same time as we're hearing about Ontario. And I don't want to switch gears completely to Ontario. I want to stick with Alison Redford. But I just want to show that this is a disease of government regardless. Okay? So, I mean, not that there's much distance politically between Kathleen Wynne and Alison Redford. Despite the party labels, $21 million in bonus payments to 4,800 public managers, even though there's supposed to be an austerity campaign, even though there's supposed to be a wage freeze. Oh, what's 21 million between friends, Dave? What's 21 million between friends?
We'll just call it something else. We'll call it, let's see, merit pay. We'll just put that over here so nobody loses. There's a freeze or a cutback, but still nobody loses. But it's this sort of secrecy that goes on, right, Brian? It goes on behind the scenes, and no, we're not going to reveal it because it's all private information. I mean, they didn't want to reveal Stephen Carter's number because they thought it might be damaging to his career. Why? Because he got so much? What's damaging? It's our money.
He's that valuable, you've got to pay him that much. How would that be damaging other than the fact that it looks bad? Well, he's off. Yeah. He's got a cushy consulting job now. It's not like he left and went nowhere. He's got a cushy consulting job.
Well, he does, and he's working in the municipal campaign underway right now. He's working for one of the councillors who wants to get reelected. So he's still in there doing the strategy stuff, doing the backroom stuff. He's still doing that for, again, anybody that will hire him, I guess.
What do you think? You've been at this a long time. You've been watching this a long time. What will it take for politicians to actually have the fear of the voters put into them so that they might respect public money and not come up with sweetheart deals like this or sweetheart deals for civil servants that are supposed to be on a pay freeze? We all know what a pay freeze is. We've all been subject to them at one point or another in our careers.
Oh, yeah.
What will it take?
I don't know. I mean, we've had principled people running, principled people who are fiscally conservative, who want fair treatment of the taxpayer and the taxpayer's dollar. We've had them campaign. We've had some of them elected, Brian, federally, for example, and still we see some of these abuses. So I guess we just have to keep at it. We got to keep the faith. Keep the faith that democracy will work.
I think part of it is smaller government. We'll get into that later in the program. Dave, great talking to you. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, Brian.
Cheers.